नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll start with the pastimes of Guru Maharaj, but if anybody would like to read, please raise your hands with the Zoom reactions so we can read in sequence. And I will share my screen. We're starting at 5.19. What's the last one here? The mysterious passenger. Yes, Nalini Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
dear. Danvat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj. 5.19 The Mysterious Passenger. The car pulled out of the airport terminal into the dense Mumbai traffic. I was now driving at snail's pace with inches separating our vehicle from four vehicles on four sides. What could be more chaffing for a driver? On top, my only passenger started to cough. With an air of annoyance, I suggested, "Your health seems bad. You should take some rest now." He replied, "Yes." As I, through the rear view mirror, saw him slightly nod in approval. Finally, we reached the destination, and my passenger patted my back and smiled graciously. His affection somehow pulled out my heart, but I didn't know who he was. Being a newly appointed driver at Radha Gopinath temple, I hadn't identified its spiritual head, Radhanath Swami. I still regret for my impertinent suggestion on that drive, while I wonder how he could react the way he did. Even a trace of ego, if it were present in him, wouldn't have let his stature remain inconspicuous to me. It would have pushed him to either retort in anger or at least hint me of his identity. Daruk.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. It's wonderful pastime that not we hear repeatedly from many devotees. Anuradha Leela Mataji, please. Next one I'm sharing here.
Radhanath Swami is spirituality practical. Kadraj, Kondwa Road runs through the silent outskirts of Pune, a city in western India. Since a few months, however, the sounds of stone cutting chisels emerge from a 5-acre plot adjoining this road. The construction is on round the clock. What's up? Four structures stand in the blueprint: a temple for Radha Krishna, a temple for Balaji, a monastery, and a house for serving out free food to the masses. The estimated cost of construction is 300 million. The fundraising committee is under stress, and so am I, being its head. Recently, Ranat Swami visited the site. Why do you intend to construct the main structure that will house Radha and Krishna only in the end? Ranat Swami's quizzical expression accentuated his inquiry. Our plan was to construct the Balaji temple in the first phase, the monastery and the free food house in the second phase, and the Radha Krishna temple in the final phase. The logic behind construction the Balaji temple was first as obvious to us as the conspicuous presence of the hills that overlook the plot from its rear. Like the Balaji in the Tirupati temple, who is the richest deity in the world, we expected our Balaji too to attract ample donations from the pilgrims. The rest of the construction could then proceed smoothly. Do you think the Supreme Lord, who has appeared as Balaji, is a fundraiser? He hasn't appeared for collecting donations. He has appeared to remove the burden of sins. of his pilgrims. Ramnaswami's words swam across the current of the evening breeze that flowed through the open plot. The breeze, obviously a cool one, now felt warm, inconspicuously. And why construct a monastery and a fruit house before the main temple structure? We had felt that if the temple structure was ready first, we couldn't possibly raise funds for the remaining structures. Most pious donors were attracted by the temple within the package of temple, monastery, and free food house. Radha and Krishna are supplying everything for everyone in the universe. How could you keep them waiting from coming here, thinking their coming will stop the supply of funds required for the rest of the construction? Ramnaswami's words drilled through the package of misconceptions in our brains. Though we accepted spirituality, we wanted to be practical in the real world. But for Radhanath Swami, spirituality was the only practical reality. Shri Guru Charan.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. It's another aspect of personalism that Guru Maharaj always highlights, that we treat the deity as a person, and the person is here to love us, not serve our purposes. Hare Krishna. Neha Mataji, please, would you like to read the next one?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Sada Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Radhanath Swami, is spirituality practical? The car cruised along in the darkness of the night, its engines hum rising above the silence around. As I carefully steered the wheels around a pothole, a hand tapped me from behind. Could I use the restroom? Asked Radhanath Swami from the rear seat, clearing his throat. He was very sick and had been napping for a while. Restroom? It was India, and the only option I could think of at this hour was a deserted street corner. With many apologies, I presented to him the predicament. He consoled me with a smile. I pulled over the vehicle in a familiar neighborhood where only the stars saw through the cloudless sky. What is this place? Radhanath Swami mumbled. We are in the neighborhood of Radha Swami's ashram, I replied. Surely. He didn't know Radha Swami, but the air of spirituality that the name carried was sufficient to draw out his respect. He requested that we continue driving till we found another spot. I was wonderstruck. Here he was, sick and tired, and to nap again he had to relieve himself as soon as possible. In such an emergency, would the act be considered defiling a holy neighborhood? And after all, in India it wasn't considered taboo. But for Radhanath Swami's respectful attitude, emergencies were no excuse. Fortunately, after a while, we found a petrol pump and its owner gladly allowed Radhanath Swami to use his toilet. I often held a condescending attitude towards most other spiritual groups, but this incident was a turning point. Yuvaraj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Guru Maharaj's behavior is a medicine for all our diseases. All our misconceptions can be cleared if we take Guru Maharaj's example. Hare Krishna. So maybe we can read a couple more. Aishani Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Dandvat Pranam. Radhanath Swami walks his talk. What truly are our requirements? Demarcating this elusive boundary between necessities and luxuries is a challenge that confronts environmentalists and spiritualists alike. Radhanath Swami's method of demarcation is simple. We truly require only those things that we use in the service of God and society. Accordingly, maintaining a healthy and fit body for better service is also a part of simple living. Even during my initial interactions with Radhanath Swami in 1987, I saw him live by this understanding. A monk at Radha Gopinath community had once requested me to get a pair of simple slippers, inexpensive yet protective. It wasn't hard for me to find them. The roadside hawker across the street had plenty. But then it was hard on me when I saw Radhanath Swami wearing them the next day. If only I knew the slippers were for him, I would have got another pair with better looks. But he looked least bothered over their looks, and used them for the next 6 months, as long as they assisted him in his service. Mr. Ashok Parikh. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. This was, I believe this is His Grace Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, senior devotee at ISKCON Chopadi, senior counselor. And in another talk, he was sharing that this same pastime, but he was also sharing that Guru Maharaj wore the same, I don't know, people who grew up in India know this Bata slippers, white and blue. That's what this were Maharaj was using. And he was wearing them everywhere, even to aristocratic people and devotees' homes when Maharaj would go. Same slippers he was wearing everywhere. So Anandandan Prabhu was sharing that he was pretty much shocked at Guru Maharaj's simplicity. Hare Krishna, this is Sadhu Priya Prabhu, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead. We'll read one more.
7. Purity. 7.1. Vrindavan pilgrimage with Radhanath Swami. Our first pilgrimage to Vrindavan was in the winter of 1986. We numbered 22, all novices, and Radhanath Swami was our transcendental tour guide. It was a 3-day tour. We visited temple on the first day, circumambulated the Govardhan Hill on the second, and visited Barsana and Nandgaon on the third. As we walked around Govardhan Hill, a 21-kilometer trek, we sang Kirtan. Radhanath Swami danced all the way, stopping at holy stop spots, bathing at holy kunds. It took us 16 hours to complete the circumambulation, from 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Whatever meager luggage we carried grew in weight with every kilometer, and each tried to push it onto another's shoulder. You, please carry my luggage, please. A year later, we visited Vrindavan with Radhanath Swami for the second time and went on a circumambulation of Govardhan once again. This time, we found ourselves less inclined to push our luggage onto others. And on the third visit to Vrindavan, the mantra during the circumambulation had changed. Please allow me to carry your luggage, please. Who on who can deny the transformation's potency of spirituality? Vishaka Priya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Amazing. So let's pause here and switch to the book. Let me open that here. Section 19, I believe. Yeah. Yes. Nilima Mataji, please let me zoom in
Hare
here.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yes.
Are you able to listen to my voice? Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. A little bit faint, but we can hear.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev. How should we perceive and perform a dislikable service that we are instructed to do? Answer: we shouldn't think about personal likes and dislikes, but only what Gurudev and the Vaishnavas like. If they instructed us to do something we love, then it is our austerity to tolerate our love for it and perform the task. When we have to do something that we despise, then with the same enthusiasm we have to tolerate our hatred and do it because we are not working for us. A servant doesn't do things for himself, but for his master. We have to put aside our own feelings of like and dislike, or difficult and easy, as it is with all selfish thinking. It is not the thinking of a servant, but of one who wants to be the master and enjoyer. We cannot deny the presence of these feelings, however, we can tolerate them and go on with our service according to the directions of Krishna's. Prabhuji, scroll little up. Direction of Krishna's. Yeah. Direction of Krishna's representative.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
This is
Krishna.
interesting. So we have to tolerate our love for it. There's a pastime related to this that I heard. I'll share later. I mean, towards the end when we have discussion. Thank you, Mataji Nilima, for reading. Priya Gopi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
My
Krishna.
humble obeisances to everyone.
Pranam.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. Question. I'm petrified of Maya and her deadly power to end my life and my devotional service anytime she chooses to. My fear creates the doubt in my ability to practice Krishna consciousness throughout my life. Is this fright good or bad? Answer. It is good to be afraid of Maya. It is only if we are afraid of her that we will always be attentive to seek the shelter of Krishna's protection. If we trust her and are unafraid of her, then we won't be attentive. Our fear of Maya should impel us to always remain strictly at the lotus feet of Krishna by following his instructions and by associating with his devotees. Without understanding her power, we will not take the association of devotees very seriously, and therefore we run risk of being swept away by her. Maya is too difficult to understand, and we are too weak of our own ability to fight against her without the support and the friendship of the Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare.
much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Wonderful.
Prabhuji, I saw a YouTube video of Guru Maharaj where he's conveying exactly same message, and I will probably share with Anuradha Leela Madaji. She can post here.
Yes.
It's about
Thank you.
power of association of devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. Please do share.
Yes, Prabhu.
Anuradha Leela Mataji, would you like to read?
There was Namras Mataji wanted to read first. And then
There was, yeah. Namras Mataji, are you able to read now?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Please,
Dandavat
go ahead.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna everyone. Dandavat Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada. Question. As a true devotee, Bali Maharaj kept his word and eventually he lost everything, whereas we often resort to lies. Does that put us in the wrong? Answer. This is one of a private question rather than a public query. There are relative truths and there are absolute truths. Often, in pursuance of the absolute truth, some adjustments may have to be made in the relative truth. However, there can never be an adjustment in the absolute truth. If we adjust the absolute truth to serve the purpose of the relative truth, then we lose everything. In this material world, we may constantly have to adjust certain relative truths according to the time and the place in order to pursue and satisfy the necessities of the absolute truth. This is not against the truth, but is actually a higher cause. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of a child who is terminally ill and his mother who wants him to have his medicine. The child does not like the taste and stubbornly rejects it. So she tries to reason with him about the fatality of his sickness, but he still resists. Finally, she grinds the medicine into powder, mix it in a laddu, and offer it to him, saying, "Have this delicious laddu, I specially prepared for you." He refuses it. "Don't give me medicine. I won't have it." After much coddling, the wary and hesitant child consumes it and his life is saved. Does that make the mother a liar? Will she go to hell for it? Pursuing the higher truth, she adjusted a relative truth to save her child's life. So that is not considered dishonest. Had she refused to lie to him and let the disease take its toll, then that would have been her greatest dishonesty, and not one appreciates such an honest mother. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. There's a lot of negotiation to be done with small children. You have to be a good negotiator. 13, 14.
Krishna. My mom used to do for me the same. She's from. I really couldn't swallow any pills. I just didn't know how to swallow. Hated this bitter taste. My mom would wash these pills, also make them into powder, and she would put sweetened condensed milk in them, and she tried jam and everything, and I would just spit out everything.
And then
I
you
really
became
couldn't.
a baker, right? For desserts.
Oh, I don't know how it
Hare
happened.
Krishna.
Technically speaking, can it be labeled as a karma mishra bhakta? Since you aspire for and are on the path of pure devotional service, you are a pure devotee, but you are just like a fruit when it is on a mango tree. At the beginning, it is a raw mango, but ripe. But still, it is a mango because it is on the mango tree. Srila Prabhupada said, "You are all pure devotees because you are on the tree of pure devotional service, but you are unripe pure devotees. So you just have to stay on the tree and naturally you will become ripe. But if you fall off the tree, then you will not become ripe. So stay on the tree. Everything will be perfect by Krishna's mercy." Ja.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful example. These things have to be explained in so many ways by our acharyas. Thank you. Puja Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the
Hare
opportunity.
Krishna.
Many enthusiastic devotees often lose their faith and love in Krishna in times of life crisis. Is that because Krishna tests them beyond their capacity or they are insincere? Krishna never tells us beyond our Krishna never tests us beyond our capacity. When we do reach the threshold of our capacity, we cry out to Krishna for shelter and he helps us. Krishna is unlimited. He is inconceivable. He has inconceivable strength, and when we take Krishna's shelter, he supports us. Therefore, the surrendered devotee's capacity also become unlimited. But when we are unwillingly to surrender and we keep making decision based on our limited material conceptions, then we will have infinitesimal capacity, and that capacity will be trampled upon by Maya effortlessly. Hence, surrendering to Krishna is indeed a test of our sincerity. Are we willing to be faithful and loyal? Are we willing to hang on patiently? Are we willing to take help from others? Many soldiers are killed in battle, but if the other soldiers are deterred by that and start to flee, then they end up losing the war. Whereas if they keep working together to fight, despite the casualties, then they can win the war. Surely times of crisis need to be dealt with compassion, concern, and maturity. Under no circumstances should we give up our faith, dedication, and hope. Prabhupada knew well that there will come a time in every devotee's life when they will be overcome by Maya. He cautioned us that we are fighting a war against Maya. And so some of our soldiers will fall. But our mission is that we remain united. And even those soldiers that are fallen, they will be born again sometime and will go back to Godhead. It is just that some purification is required. We have to move forward. We will feel compassion and we go on fighting together even though many obstacles will come. Jai. Thank you, Babaji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Every devotee will be overcome by Maya at some point. Hare Krishna. 2, 3. Neetu Mataji, please go ahead. He's still muted, Neetu Mataji. Maybe not able to unmute. We can come back. Aishani Mataji, are you able to read?
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna.
yes, Prabhuji, I can read.
Please go ahead. We'll come back to Neetu Mataji.
Okay. If there were only sufferings in the material world, then we would resort to chanting Hare Krishna easily and go back to Godhead. Why then do we have to experience pleasures in the material world that only detract us from that path? Answer: if there were no pleasures, there wouldn't be free will. Krishna gives us pleasures so that we can contemplate whether we want to enjoy them separate from Him or be enjoyed by Him. To love means to be enjoyed. There is nothing for us to enjoy and no facility provided for us. Still, we try to enjoy separate from Him. Krishna has created love in a most perfect way, and that perfection is that He gives you the freedom not to love. However, that facility not to love comes through giving enjoyment separated from Him, because that is not the nature of the soul. It is actually suffering.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Only after reading Prabhupada's books you understood there is no happiness separate from Krishna. Sorry, question 4. It's up here. Neetu Mataji, are you able to read now? Do you unmute?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, dear
Hare
devotees,
Krishna.
and my pranams to all of you. It is said that the nature of the soul is that it is always pleasure seeking. One cannot perform any activity unless it gives pleasure. Therefore, if devotional service with its share of test and reversals becomes a miserable life of unfulfilled desires, then how will a devotee who wants to simply chant Hare Krishna and remain happy perform devotional service? Answer: the real pleasure is in taking shelter of the process of Krishna consciousness and not in the external circumstances. It's great if things go our way. If they don't, we could be miserable as it distracts us from the process of Krishna consciousness. But in these temporary and fluctuating situations, we relate real pleasure to how we are connecting with Krishna and how we are giving pleasure to Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be in ecstasy after seeing a beautiful feast cooked for the deities. All he wanted was a little boiled rice, but his happiness was boundless on seeing hundreds of sweets and sabjis offered to the deities. So, what is happiness? Are we this mind and body, or are we the soul? As we make spiritual advancement, we have to focus on what gives happiness to the soul. When we take shelter of Krishna in the face of reversals, we are giving happiness to the soul. It's not that we look for miseries. We are looking for happiness. We are trying to arrange our Krishna conscious life in such a way that there is some quality and some stability. Whatever we plan or arrange, miseries are going to come, but they are also wonderful opportunities to learn to find pleasure. It is not that devotees seek misery, they simply find pleasure in taking the shelter of Krishna. Whatever may come our way, happiness or distress, pleasure or pain, honor or dishonor, success or failure, victory or defeat, our happiness is neither in the event nor in its outcome. It is in turning to Krishna, remembering Him, and connecting with Him, especially through chanting His holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If you look for Krishna in chanting His names, you will find him in that. If you look for happiness in Krishna, you will find pleasure in Krishna. And then that pleasure is unlimited. If we look for pleasure in the temporary worldly situations, then that is where we are going to remain. Seeking pleasure in this world, unable to rise beyond it. Sometimes miserable situations make us look for Krishna, but we should be doing that even in pleasurable situations. We should be looking for Krishna in all situations. When Srila Prabhupada said, chant and be happy, he actually wanted the best material situations that were favorable to devotees. But on seeing that devotees were not getting prasad, sleep, and other basic facilities, he was much concerned. He wanted them to be healthy and to have basic comforts. He wanted that they were not overly stressed and that they avoid having distressed bodies. He was particularly careful of that. For example, in Mayapur, devotees were provided mosquito nets, and in Vrindavan, there were ashrams and guest houses. Even the devotees from the West could feel the basic comforts in Vrindavan, which are still not available anywhere else. But no matter what arrangements you make for these simple bodily comforts, miseries will come. Some devotees hardly had any comforts, yet they were happy. The six Goswamis lived under the trees. They were the happiest people because they were always turning to Krishna. While regularly providing the Vaishnavas a comfortable life, we should simultaneously be cultivating our eternal consciousness. Our real happiness and pleasure is not in these external arrangements. Our real pleasure is in connecting with the reservoir of real pleasure, in chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Question 5. Neha Mataji, please. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Question. Why is it that the souls in the higher planets of Jan, Tap, and Maharlok, who have renounced the gross pleasures of Swarg, are still in the material existence and aren't pure devotees of the Lord? Also, as devotees, when we leave our material bodies after death and are journeying back to Godhead, what will prevent us from stopping over at these planets of the great rishis and siddhas? Answer. These are great devotees. Some may even be pure devotees, living temporarily on these planets, and they will go back home after they give up their particular bodies. On these planets, there are the jnanis, who are not pure devotees but worshippers of the impersonal Brahman. They may not yet have achieved ultimate perfection, or if they have achieved it, then they still inhabit their bodies. Hence, they haven't been transferred to the Brahma Jyoti thus far. The rest are the bhaktas, that is, Jnana Mishra bhaktas or Karma Mishra bhaktas, to varying extents. For instance, they may be great devotees with mystic parts that they are a little attached to, or they may be attached to mental speculation. Therefore, they cannot go back to Godhead. Although there are devotees or transcendentalists in these upper planets, generally there is still some impurity in their bhakti. Sri Rupa Goswami's prayer in this regard is that Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. If we want real Krishna consciousness, our desire cannot be mixed with any karma, jnana, or even tapasya. On these planets live rishis who experience incredible pleasure by doing tapasya. By my own experience, I can testify that a tapasya in itself renders unbelievable pleasure to the one performing it. During my early years of spiritual search, when I was living in the Himalayas, I wasn't aware of Krishna, nor did I even know the existence of a personality of Godhead. But just by performing very severe tapasya, I reveled in a pleasure far greater than any other enjoyment I'd ever experienced in all types of American sense gratification. The solitude of tapasya alone brings about a tremendous mental peace, although I may have hardly scratched the surface. Similarly, the people of these planets do experience such great satisfaction in tapasya. They refuse to consider the thought that their life is simply meant to please Krishna. By offering the dust of their feet to Krishna, the gopis were even ready to go hell to satisfy him. I do not think that the residents of Tapalok, who are enjoying the bliss of not eating and sleeping and being completely immersed in inner meditation, would entertain the idea of going to hell for him. Persons living on higher planets are in a truly purified state of happiness by being immersed in the study of the scriptures, performing yajnas, chanting mantras, and doing tapasya. However, none of these machinations, machinations will work for going to Krishna. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami rejects everything available in Janalok, Tapalok, Maharlok, or Satyalok. In the spiritual world of Golok Vrindavan, you will not find any of these activities. Some Siddhir Haritoshna. The only activity there is to please Krishna. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam. If we have any desire to enjoy even the fruits of spiritual activities, we cannot go back to Krishna because we have still not been purified. We have to negate all of these spiritual desires. Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, Karma Mishra Bhaktas are still in the material world because they want to enjoy. But their enjoyment is millions of times better than the pleasures in Swarglok or Indralok because it is based on a spiritual principle, yet it is not pure. Krishna proves only pure devotional service, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has set the precedent of the Shuddha Bhakta, who lives for Krishna's satisfaction alone, through Rupa Goswami. Bhaktaya mam abhijananti yavan yas chashme tatvata. Krishna attains pleasure only through bhakti and no other mixture. We need to cultivate this understanding and aspiration in us by associating with those in the line of pure devotional service, like Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, who have constantly strived to give us uncompromised, pure devotional service. As we make advancement by always remaining fixed in such association, we realize that even the pleasures enjoyed by the residents of Janalok, Tapalok, Satyalok, or Maharlok are not for us, because we begin to question what they are really doing to please Krishna. Many of them are pleasing him, but they are still attached to their own ideas. Sometimes we get trapped in our service by becoming more attached to the service rather than the one we are serving. And that is also a type of mixed devotion. Often, we may find someone too happy doing a particular service. And if we ask them to change that, they may refuse us. It is good to enjoy rendering service, as it eventually leads to purification. However, a truly sincere devotee will weigh up that it's not what they are doing, but who they are doing it for that counts. And when we have that consciousness, then we won't be attracted to anything else but the spiritual world.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Long answer. But we are fortunate that we are on the Bhuloka. So we don't have to worry so much about being attached to purified pleasures of the higher planets. Maybe we'll read couple more before discussing. Would somebody like to read? Yes, Neetu Mataji, please go ahead. You're still on mute. Yes.
How can we give up our liking for cricket and instead develop the love for spiritual life? Answer. Simply put, the liking for cricket is an artificial temporary imposition on the soul, whereas the liking for spiritual life is the inherent nature of the soul. Just by our contact with Krishna, that inherent desire gradually awakens. Our attraction to Krishna depends on several factors: our past pious activities, our good sukritis of our previous life, by hearing about Krishna in this very lifetime, or even by hearing about devotion, we may immediately be attracted. Or just by meeting someone exemplary, we may get attracted to him. There are several others who haven't. Prabhuji, can you scroll? Who haven't felt the attraction yet, but we try to expose them to Krishna, knowing without a doubt that their inner natural propensity to love him will definitely awaken. By offering someone prasad, that inner propensity will awaken. Throughout the world, the lives of many spiritually lost and morally degraded people have miraculously transformed just by the process of regularly eating prasad. Srila Prabhupada encouraged the worldwide startup of restaurants serving Krishna Prasad. He genuinely believed that even if a person with no inclination for Krishna consciousness or any other religion consumed a serving of prasad appreciatively, then they would surely become Krishna conscious. With my own eyes, I have seen antagonist people completely averse to devotion to God and religion surrendering to Krishna after eating prasad. Additionally, the hearing of the holy name, contact with pure spiritual literature, contact with devotees, and experiencing the kindness of the devotees all serve to awaken the dormant inherent spiritual nature within them. Naturally, we yearn to expose the whole world to the beauty and to the mercy of Krishna through his wonderful manifestations that will change the hearts of people. The change may be gradual or rapid, but it will certainly take place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. 6. Aishani Mataji, were you able to read? One more,
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, I can read.
please.
Yes. Question. How can we deal with
Sorry.
some of the some of the forgetful devotees who resort to their old ways of gossiping and complaining about their problems with others despite our repeated guidance and instructions? Answer. We should expertly learn to stop wasting our time in useless pursuits. In spite of our multiple efforts to ease their dilemmas, if they don't seem to improve and indulge in relentless discussions of their problems with others, then we should not squander our valuable time in their quibbling. Instead, we should utilize our time to help someone who really wants our help. Meanwhile, if any of the problem seekers show up again, we can simply dismiss them saying, I already know your problem. We have already discussed it, and there is no need to discuss it again. Of course, we must remain humble, respectful, and encouraging at the same time. We must set our priorities straight and utilize all our time in the best possible way to serve our Lord Krishna. When an earnest devotee who values our time approaches us seeking guidance and genuinely willing to mend his ways, then we can gladly spend days hearing his sincere concerns and doubts. As for the sorry, as for the nonchalant ones who love to fritter away our time by repeatedly dumping the stinking filth of their mind on us, we would best serve them prasad, do some small talk, and move on to the more deserving ones. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Um, it's the last question of this chapter, so maybe we can read one. Somebody who hasn't read would like to read?
Maybe you should read Sri Prabhupada.
Huh? Me?
Maybe you should read Sri now.
Oh, I can read. Um, Hare Krishna. How is it that great lovers develop the unflinching desire to give up their lives, thereby destroying their bodies, which are the very sources of ultimate sense enjoyment? Answer. They do it because they are under the modes of material nature. They may display greater concern for another person's body than their own. For instance, if someone tries to assassinate the king or the president, a bodyguard jumps ahead to take the bullet. That means he is more concerned with the body of another because he thinks that the value of that person's life is so much more than his own. On the material level, that is a selfless activity. But in actuality, it is a selfish motive by which he can fulfill his self motivated desires in payment for his service. It is still based on illusion. Those who are willing to sacrifice their lives fall within this illusion of material nature. Any soldier who goes to war must have grand feelings of patriotism rooted deeply enough to be willing to die for his country. And most soldiers do when they go to war. From the point of view of spiritual understanding and truth, they die in vain. They simply destroy their lives in devotion to a material misconception. When Srila Prabhupada met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he presented nationalistic arguments that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta completely dismissed off as useless. He opined, quote, parties will always keep changing, but the only real need of this world is Krishna consciousness, unquote. Therefore, we should only be willing to give our lives to help people become Krishna conscious. That is a real selfless behavior. Hare Krishna. Interesting to read this after Valentine's Day. This is also completion of 2 years of our reading, so it's interesting. We haven't planned something major yet. Maybe we can start discussing now. Let's stop here. Um, so yeah, we completed 2 years. I think many of you have been joining from the beginning, and it has been, I think, it has been very valuable reading in association. It has been extremely completely different experience reading in association of the devotees. I think we completed 5 books or something, 5 or 6, and we'll soon complete this one. We have another one lined up, so we will continue. I didn't even know Guru Maharaj had written so many books other than the two famous ones.
Not just these books are compiled by devotees, many of the books based on his lectures.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are written, some are on lectures, or maybe all of them are on lectures. But
There are even more books Prabhu in Russian language that are also based on Guru Maharaj lectures, and I actually asked if I can translate them, so we can read them as well. But I was told not to, because there could be no very specific terms that Guru Maharaj used, and just don't want to kind of mislead anybody.
yeah, I didn't know there were more in Russian that are not in English.
There are some beautiful ones. I'm reading
Wow.
one at the moment every morning.
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to mention regarding this question and answer that we read before last one. It was actually answered one of my questions that I've been having for a while, because we know one devotee who's been used to live in Savannah, and then he moved to another state, and since then he's been contacting me and my husband. But I felt like, I had different thoughts of how I should be communicating, or how we should be communicating to him. But it felt like all our, just hearing or advice or making plans has never worked. And I tried to also, advise him to go to other senior devotees, because he thought him would be more likely to listen to their advice. I feel like he's enjoying saying, it's just need probably somebody to hear. I don't know, but the fact that Guru Maharaj mentioned that it is our valuable time, and it's also something for me to think about, because,
Yeah.
like from one side, yes, we definitely want to help devotees or anybody else and just be there. But sometimes, like, I am understanding that I cannot help this person. Like there was no steps done since we, began communicating. It's everything is the same. Um, like last time when we spoke to him, with my husband, um, I said to my husband, maybe it's good that we actually, answered his call, because maybe he was, on the state that he was like in very negative mental state that could have ended up really badly. Like from that point of view, I thought that, just don't want to neglect the person, but I really need to learn, how to speak, because I just could be not helpful to anybody really.
Yeah. This was clearly answered. Guru Maharaj just suggested to simply offer prasad, but I think if he's in a different city, maybe you can connect him to somebody who has ability to
Has
handle
connections,
the
Prabhu. He has connections. He's
psychological
practicing
help,
devotee.
emotional help.
I don't think he's really looking for, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some people get stuck in things like this and are unable to come out of it, even if help is offered.
That's why I suggested senior devotees, because senior devotees could be more, have more spiritual strength, and can have more power in their words to just, give an advice once, and that's all.
More compassion. Guru
Definitely
Maharaj
more
gave,
compassion, more of everything.
yes, Guru Maharaj said, gave that instruction for all of us, but Guru Maharaj himself would never turn away anybody, even if somebody came with problems and complaints. Of course, Guru Maharaj has more compassion and tolerance. It's wonderful to hear this and apply in our lives immediately. And would somebody like to share something else from what we read? Yes, Puja Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, now from today's reading, actually, Guru Maharaj is in Bombay. So there was this one devotee's wedding. So I got to hear from one of the Mataji one point which Guru Maharaj said, and it really struck me. When anyone is getting into marriage, it is not between the two person. It is actually that couple is going to bind with Krishna. There's actually marriage between three of them. It's like that he was trying to explain. So that point was so nice, that something like marriage which we see in a materialistic viewpoint, but in that also he uh, sees Krishna, and then he said it is actually between that couple and Krishna. So they both came together for Krishna. It's a marriage between that couple and Krishna. It's like that, something like that. So I really like that point. I thought of sharing it. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Was it Guru Maharaj there at the wedding?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Wow, wonderful.
Class also I heard from senior devotee. He gave a very small class, but this was one
Okay,
of the point which that Mataji shared with me, and it just
nice.
stuck.
Thank you
Thank you
for
very much.
sharing. Thank you for sharing. We are also able to participate because you shared. Um, if somebody else like to share, please, you can unmute.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Actually, the experience that I read now of His Grace Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, from there I was remembering that Guru Maharaj, jo Srila Prabhupada's teaching was that ki simple living and high thinking, and Guru Maharaj showed that with the example of sleeper, that it's a very simple one, not a very luxury anything, but the teachings are very valuable. So I was thinking like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Nalini Mataji, please.
Yeah, Prabhuji, the first one I read, the first thing itself, it struck me a lot. Throughout the reading, I was just thinking about that only, Prabhuji. It's a simple, I mean, like simple paragraph, but so much is there in that, Prabhuji. The Daruk, but Maharaj showed true humility, Prabhuji. So even though that driver he talked like unknowingly, but Maharaj didn't get offended, and like he didn't think about, like Maharaj did not think about like. There is no false ego, like I am who he didn't know who I am, maybe I have to let him know who I am. So he didn't think like the Maharaj did not think like the Guru Maharaj. And then so much tolerance, Prabhuji. So like small things only, but it won't disturb the like those pure souls mind, Prabhuji. So they have steady mind. So very it's simple thing, but we have to learn so much. In that place, if I am there, definitely we would react. Definitely I would react, Prabhuji. At least in a
Yes.
normal way, also in a simple tone, also maybe I would react. But Maharaj did
Yeah.
not say anything. He just simply pat him and just smiled. So much compassion, so much humility. That very wonderful, Prabhuji.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I would be very disturbed if somebody spoke in a tone like that. And not to mention, if somebody is in a powerful position, being spoken to like this. These are actually fortunate souls who are serving Guru Maharaj personally and so closely. It's difficult to imagine their fortune for so many years. Thank you. Oh, it's 11. So thank you. Maybe we can close the discussion. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for reading together and sharing your realizations. We are all fortunate to have your association and hear from you. We'll meet next week. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Guru
Thank
Maharaj.
you. Hare Krishna.